Greetings, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Into the Nexus, the podcast all about Heroes of the Storm. I'm Garrett Weinzerl, and I am joined, as always, by the wizard, Kyle Ferguson.
Oh, it's good to be here.
A little throwback to the pre-show discussion.
Yeah, for those, catch the live show. You missed out, really.
Yeah, pretty much. No explanation. You don't get to learn about our inside joke. You should just tune in to twitch.tv/amutv when Into the Nexus records live. Enjoy
Exactly.
It's good
and
stuff.
Experience the horrors of seeing your favorite radio hosts in person and having all your dreams shattered.
Man, I listened to Scott Johnson's podcasts without seeing what he looked like for well over a year. Mm-hmm. Probably closer to 2 years. And I can't tell you what I thought that he looked like. All I know is it did not match what he actually looks like. And when I did finally see him, I was like, wow, that is so not what I expected at all.
Nope, there was a classical station in New Mexico run by this baritone and just beautiful singy voice going over the classical music. And this woman calls in and she's like, hey, how's it going? And he's like, nope, back right up. I look like Santa Claus and I'm gay.
Tell me that's a direct quote.
Pretty much. It's a little hyphenated. Yes. This was, 1999? So it was more hinted at back then. Nowadays, you could just throw that out on the radio.
All right. Fair enough. That's great. That's just downright fantastic.
Yeah.
Got a couple of announcements before we dive into this week's Heroes of the Storm news. First up, tomorrow is our patron hangout. We'll be doing our extra episode for the month thanks to our wonderful Into the Nexus patrons. We're recording our call-in episode tomorrow. It will be at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. Head on over to twitch.tv/amovetv where we will be doing the live recording, and the call-in details are up for patrons over at patreon.com/ITN. Also, we will be giving away a Jaina, a Zagara, and a Zeratul code to the first 3 callers. Big thanks to listener Philip Moore, who donated those codes. So, first 3 callers, you get your pick. Well, I guess the first caller gets their pick of 3, second caller gets their pick of 2, third caller, you get whatever's left over.
I love this. Oh, it's going to be like old-timey radio. Well, not old-timey radio, but like that public service radio we were just talking about.
You're calling number 1. Take your pick.
Can you get an air horn ready for tomorrow, please?
No. I refuse.
Maybe a clown horn, maybe? Just a little...
we could do this.
Right. I could be wrong.
That is the Heroes of the Storm air horn. Let's be honest.
Okay, excellent.
I
like that.
So.
We'll use it for our quiz show.
Right. I like it. We're doing a quiz show now?
Patreon. No. That's not a thing.
I didn't get the memo. Oh, is it the patron goal? Okay, wonderful. You're making them on the fly.
Hey, in the spirit of tweets that send people for a wild ride this week, we could just make wild promises and say, you know what, next week, actually come New Year, we've got a huge surprise for you guys. It's going to be huge. It's going to blow your socks off. Get ready for it.
Wonderful. Reminder, too, starting next week, Into the Nexus will be recording on Wednesdays at 5 p.m. Eastern Time until the new year. We have to free up all of the remaining Thursdays for all the things that are happening. First off, the most important one, Star Wars is next week.
Of course.
I don't know what you're doing, Kyle, and I don't care because I'm going to see the premiere of Star Wars. I hope you're doing the same.
Because you don't care, so I wasn't going to answer.
Because I will be calling you afterwards to discuss the movie.
Okay. You'll probably get out at, 2 a.m.? So that's still a sane time. For me, 11. But
I
won't answer.
7 p.m. 7 p.m. showing. That's why I can't do Into the Nexus.
What?
That's a
midnight showing?
The first showings are happening Thursday at 7 p.m. all around the country.
That's broken.
It's awesome. I actually get to go in with my senses intact.
Right. Not dying in the seat.
Exactly. The older I've gotten, the less and less attractive midnight showings of movies, even movies I'm just insanely excited about, has gotten. It's just I'm too old, man. I'm old. I'm boring. I can't do this shit anymore.
Yeah, I'll be seeing it the next day because I have to stay off the internet, and even then, I don't think I'm safe.
Yeah,
there's gonna be a tweet or something on my phone.
Well, in that case, I would stay the hell off Twitter.
Yeah,
Twitter's a bad place to go. Facebook is an even worse place to go.
Internet sensory deprivation.
I've been 2 episodes behind on Doctor Who this entire season, and every single episode has been spoiled for me because of Facebook. So thanks, Facebook. Thank you for spoiling Doctor Who.
I don't even want to see that it's good. Like that's ruined 2 movies now for me. Jurassic World and what was the one in space with the raccoon?
That was Guardians of the Galaxy.
Right.
Yeah. You're the most impressionable. Hype ruins movies for you, unlike anyone else I know.
Yeah, it's true. My imagination gets away from me.
Well, you should see movies sooner then.
Would help, wouldn't it?
Anyways, so yeah, we're recording Into the Nexus on Wednesdays until the new year at 5 p.m. Eastern time. Even made a note of it down below on the Twitch channel. So if you go to amove.tv, if you go to the website, you look at the sidebar, and then you show up to the live show on Thursday and you complain that the website says something different, I don't know. I don't know how to help you. We're putting this at the beginning of the show. People always complain about time changes, but I'm trying. I'm trying my best, guys. Also, we've got new amove.tv merch. ITN listener Barbecue Master, you've probably seen him in the chat room. Hell, he might even be in there right now. Being awesome. He hand engraves pint glasses, wine glasses, coffee mugs, and now he's doing a line of amove.tv wine glasses, pint glasses, and coffee mugs. So you can get your ITN glasses over at bit.ly/amove store. That's AMOVE store. These are awesome. They're hand engraved. I got one. I got a mug, an Into the Nexus mug from him at BlizzCon, and I love it. It's my new favorite coffee mug, so go check it out. Support us, support one of our listeners. It's cool stuff. And he knocks these things out like crazy. I mean, I'm surprised, obviously going to depend on how big the orders are, but I've already seen a couple on his Twitter being shipped out since it went up 2 days ago. So head on over there and take a look, guys. It's really cool. And then finally, if you're Hearthstone inclined, doing a fireside gathering in Orlando this Saturday. So check that out. Meetup.com/Florida Fireside for more info if you're a local Hearthstone fanatic. We've had people playing Heroes in the past too. We're not going to stop you from playing Heroes. All games are welcome. It's just, it's not really we don't really have an official Heroes term yet for a Heroes gathering. I guess we would just call it like a LAN party or something, Kyle.
That would be fun, but I mean, showing up to a fireside gathering and not ready to play some Hearthstone, that's bizarre. You're going to be one of those watchers at a Magic draft? That's weird.
Yeah. Although, I mean, honestly, not that bad. Like, if I've been knocked out early before and then had gotten to go watch Ben's games over his shoulder, that's entertaining.
Oh, sure. But you participate. I'm talking about the people who just kind of show up and they're always on their phone. You don't know if they really want to be there. It just drags the whole room down. Like
the world's most loyal girlfriend or boyfriend.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. It's like, wow. I mean, props, but just at that point, why not? Just pay $20 and get involved.
Or be yourself. Hang out at home for the night. Enjoy yourself.
That is very true. That is absolutely very true. Now that that's all out of the way, let's dive into this week's news.
We're on, boys! Ha-ha! Let's liven up this place!
Point me to the stage.
Click the play button, and let's get started.
Yeah. Reminder, folks, we have a subreddit, itncast.reddit.com. Go over there, subscribe to it, comment, post, talk about the things we're talking about. I check it frequently. All right, so first up today, Kyle, we're getting a larger free-to-play rotation, and talent gating, it's gone.
It's gone.
It's just talent gating, gone.
Good. I'm kind of surprised to see this right now, actually.
I mean, I am too, but F it, man. It's great. I'm so happy about this. How often, Kyle, are things implemented in this game where we get to news on this show and you and I just sit here like smug little nerd bastards and go, this is pretty great, but I have nothing negative to say about this. I am ecstatic.
I expected this to roll out with arenas, but we're not getting that for a long, long time, it seems. So good to have it now. Of course, if you were, level 20, was it, on the old accounts? You'd just be untalent-gated at that point. Of course, they never really did a good job balancing out the talents to be like, these are your easy ones, these are your hard ones, other than the ultimates. So everything's available. Pick your poison.
Yeah, it's wonderful. I mean, a lot of new players that get in, we hear it all the time. Hey, what resources should I use? Any resource that we are giving the new players, Kyle, if anyone's out there, they're gonna use something like, they're gonna go, if you're talking to us, we're probably telling you to go to Hotslogs and look at the statistics for people's talent choices.
Right.
That's what I tell people to go do. But then you also have sites like Icy Veins and Heroes Fire and Heroes Nexus,
which are good sites.
They are. They're all great sites.
Heroes Nexus has their own right now. Those are good if you need descriptions of why the talent's being chosen. But if you've been, sort of in these strategy games for a bit, you can kind of infer along the way that this stacks with this, and this is good because.
Well, exactly. So, but a lot of new players, at least I know I would if I was getting into the game brand new. I'd probably I want to build and just click and go, and. What would happen is you get in, it's like, well, I can't do this build because I only have half of the talents available to me. And that can be very frustrating. So I'm glad talent gating is gone. Feel free to bring in a Dota-like system if you want, where we could just
I was about to say that. If we're going to sit around being smug nerds here, let's go ahead and request that next level.
Okay, but I want everyone to know we're not being smug. We're very happy about this news and giving suggestions on how to make it even better.
There we go.
We're not saying that this is bad and needs to be fixed. We're saying that this is good and there's even more good stuff that could be done.
Chat's raining in, saying it was level 25, which just scares the pants off me that that's 5 levels away from Heroes League.
Yes. Who decided that? Because I disagree.
5 more levels. All right, you're ready to draft. What? I've never drafted before. Go.
I've never drafted before, and I've only known these other 50% of talents for 5 levels.
Of course, you would unlock individual heroes. We're not saying that didn't happen, but I just want anything where I can pick up my toys and organize them. Sometimes you're just wicked tired, and it's the magical thing about magic cards in a tactile sense, but also Hearthstone. I sometimes just get in there and move my cards around, disenchant this, just kind of mess around. And having that in Heroes to line up my collection, say, ooh, this is my main, but I'll oppose these guys in the background and I'll make them do half their dance and just kind of get your action figures and then maybe deciding what specs are highlighted as you make your way through the game. So you can say that's what I normally go with, but I will make a choice in this case.
You sound like a borderline crazy person right now. There is no organization to Heroes of the Storm. I don't understand you, sir.
Wait, what?
You can't move your heroes around. You can't drag them in different orders.
I know that's what I want, though.
Gotcha.
I'm talking Super Smash Bros, your little trophies, that thing no one did, except for really crazy people.
You were one of those. You were one of those really crazy people.
I had my favorites in the corner. Yes, I didn't line up everything. It got a little intense, but Mewtwo was on a little box and.
At some point, Kyle, even if it's just a one-off for an April Fool's, I think we need to just get it out of our system and do a Super Smash Brothers podcast.
I think that'd be awesome.
just done. All right, finally, it's all out.
But that just opens the gateway, doesn't it, to a Halo podcast and just down the...
Oh, a Halo podcast will happen at some point. When you get an Xbox One, that's just what I'm waiting for, Kyle. You're going to get Xbox One. If you don't get Master Chief Collection, I'm going to thrust it upon you, and we're going to do a Halo show where we play through every single damn Halo in co-op. That would be so much fun.
I'm mad jealous of your setup, dude, for the Rogue, the spaceship game where you got your joysticks and all right now.
Oh, Elite Dangerous.
Oh, geez, we could call the show Wingman. Just fly around.
Kyle, you can always be my wingman. Wonderful.
I have no aviators in reach.
Well, bringing us back into Heroes. So talent gating's gone. That's wonderful. But the hero rotation is also larger. It's now 10. It's gone up from 7 to 10 free hero slots every week. This is also affecting new accounts because they don't have access to all the same hero slots. They're going to now begin with 6 free hero slots, and 4 additional slots will be unlocked when they reach levels 5, 7, 12, and 15. Working your way up to that full free-to-play rotation of 10 heroes. I think this is also absolutely wonderful.
Right. It's kind of reaching that level where you're like, are you just going to give them all? Maybe. But then, do you only have to own them for Heroes League? That gets a little odd. It's the system they've chosen. But hey, with 10, you're guaranteed to at least have one you like in there. And in fact, in this week's list, it's some good options for new players.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think they need... At this point, I mean, yes, if we were to sit down and draft how Heroes works from the ground up again from the beginning, of course I'd rather have the Dota model.
Right.
Just play everything, and it's all cosmetics is how it's monetized. Run with it. But that's not going to happen, and I've made peace with that, and I think the system is absolutely fine. I think the free-to-play rotation was great. This wasn't even something that was in the back of my mind as something that I wanted, but I'm glad that it came. New players really just in general getting a lot of love this week from Heroes of the Storm, and I think it's something the game needed.
For sure. With a big old asterisk on it.
Yes, we'll get to that in a bit. I'm saving that for the end of news for very obvious reasons. Also because it ties directly into Dustin Browder's tweets this week. So, we got a new top 200 list officially from Heroes. A couple changes have been made to the top 200 list. These are the top 200 best players in your region. They now have to have played a minimum of 50 games to be considered for the top 200 list, and they must have reached rank 1 in the month of November to get into November's top 200. So that is up. We've got a link to it in the show notes, amove.tv/ITN. Look for the episode 79 post. What are your thoughts, Kyle?
In the past, you still had to play the 50 games, but the important thing now is you have to play a minimum of 50 games in the month you reached rank 1. So currently, I have, maybe 12 games played. So I'm not on the list because I didn't play enough games, even if my MMR was high enough because I reached rank 1 during that time. So this is a great change. It means we no longer have those really outstanding accounts where it seems like they maybe got lucky along the road, launched themselves up in MMR early on, placed highly, played maybe 10 games and never touched it again, and they keep coming up week after week or month after month on these top 200 lists. And we actually have some really good representation here. We got Team Relics, Trinity, and Myrrh all the way at the top 2 spots. That matches exactly with the MMR scales that we have over on HotSlogs. Now, there are a little bit of changes, like Myrrh is actually, in 4th on the official Blizzard list, and he's down at 17 on the HotSlogs list. But there is a lot of 1-to-1, at least in the top 500 for HotSlogs and the Blizzard list.
And we've seen this month after month, that it's not exact, but there is a lot of crossover, which is to be expected. We're not expecting it to be exact. Not everybody runs HotSlogs. So it's not going to be a perfect system. But it is, for us, non-Blizzard employees, the best tool of measurement that we have.
Right, and even more interesting, this past week, Dustin Browder, in a couple of his tweets, we didn't talk about these, or we're not going to this week, but he's mentioned HotSlogs as a source when proving things to players, such as Gazlo having too low of a win rate. He cited HotSlogs for that. So seems like at least Blizzard's acknowledging that they're pretty 1-to-1 at the moment.
Yeah, good to hear. I'm glad because it is the tool that we use.
Yep.
I'm mad because they are making me say HOTS.
Yes, hot dogs.
Or just HOTS in general. Still mad.
Instead of Heroes, yeah.
I know Legacy is out now, and we're not really referring to StarCraft 2 as HOTS anymore, but it's Heroes, guys. It's just Heroes. Yeah, it's just Heroes. You don't need to call it HOTS. Just call it Heroes. What, are people going to get confused with Heroes of Newerth? Please. All 5 people that play that game will be really mad. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Rough. Maybe we'll go play some Demigod. Oh.
I think it was like the 5th or 6th time we've kind of poked fun at Heroes of Newerth. And Kyle, every time on a podcast when one of us makes fun of a game, we get hate mail for it. I've never once had anyone write in and defend Heroes of Newerth.
No, I don't think it happens.
There
was that
nothing wrong with the game.
Legends or something, the DC Comics one.
DC Legends?
Yeah.
Or Marvel? It's Marvel Legends, isn't it?
No, it was DC because you could have a full team of Batman.
Oh, well, that's super.
You could have like Batman and like underwater Batman or something. It was like action figures.
Oh, wonderful. Cool. Well, let's get into the big topic this week, shall we? Which usually would be like a new hero, right?
It could be.
Or a new battleground.
Right. That's the sort of exciting things that you might tweet about as a company, saying, look forward to tomorrow, everybody.
Yeah. Yeah. But instead, the biggest conversation around Heroes of the Storm right now is recruit a friend. How insane is that?
I'm so torn because the entire state of the game is that we have to increase the player base in order to have a more healthy matchmaking, MMR, esports. We're trying to get the game out into the hands of people who haven't touched it, nor have the Cho'Gall friends to be invited to the game by sort of word of mouth. And so they put out yet another recruit a friend feature to get those people who currently haven't played the game at all, kind of keyword there, at all, to get in this game and start playing. That is a great idea.
Yeah, and if you're unfamiliar, it's new. This is something that existed in other Blizzard games. It's been a thing. It's been a staple in World of Warcraft for a very long time now. But the way that it works in Heroes is that you have a code, you have a form you can send to your friends. If they sign up and download Heroes of the Storm to start playing, they get a bonus, you get a bonus, depending on how much they play, what levels they reach. So if you recruit a friend, they will get Raynor for free and a 5-day stim pack. Just bam, just for signing up through the link that you send them and playing. Then if they go and they reach level 10, they get Sylvanas and a recruiter friend portrait. So 2 free heroes, 5-day stim pack, and a portrait for your buddies that are signing up.
As far as I can tell, ETC is strangling Raynor in the portrait, and it's not a very good painting of Raynor, so I'm not really sure if it's him.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure exactly what's going on in that portrait. I'm trying to pull it up and take another look. Oh, it's not in the official post. Darn.
Well, that's all great, right? I mean, Raynor, we just had Legacy of the Void come out. You know, Raynor's kind of hot at the moment. And then, of course, Sylvanas, you know, the new expansion's coming out for World of Warcraft. She's featured heavily in that. What World of Warcraft fan wouldn't want to play Sylvanas, right? And she's still 10,000 gold.
Yeah, that's an expensive hero to give out for free.
Right. It's a fantastic deal for those new players.
Right. So also the recruiter, like if I were to recruit a friend, I get bonuses as well. You will also get a recruiter friend portrait when at least one of your recruits reach level 10, and you will get the Vulture mount if at least 4 of your recruits reach level 10. Kyle?
Yes.
You know me, right?
Yeah, I think I do.
We've been friends for a while. We've been doing podcasts for a long time together.
Mm-hmm.
If there is one truth about me as somebody who digests a lot of the community surrounding Blizzard games, what do you think that one truth is?
Oh my goodness. Wow, what a question. I don't even know where to start there. It's capital T truth?
It's that I generally believe that Reddit and the official forums blow things wildly out of proportion, and I don't like to agree with them on most problems or things that they see as problems. Yes,
and to those people who get on those particular channels and say sane things, I think, oh, aren't you cute? Oh, that's really sweet of you, but no, just stop.
Wrong forum, exactly. However, I am George Washington with my knee up on the front of the ship of everybody screaming about the Vulture mount being the reward for this.
Wow, really? Well, okay,
Yes.
so let's look at the facts. We had the tweet come out that suggested something really exciting was going to happen the next day, and we know that before the end of the year, the new matchmaking is supposed to drop. And it's still scheduled to. They keep saying that that's going to come out before the end of the year. People got really excited. Some podcasts this week recorded like in the weekend on Monday right after that tweet. And man, it was disappointing to hear those shows after the fact. And they're very excited predictions for what it could be. Then we take into account that of all the mounts and skins most requested universally by everyone in this game, the Vulture mount has been at the very top.
Yep.
And then they put it behind a rather impossible to achieve wall of getting 4 new players to reach level 10. Not hard to do. Takes them about 3 hours in AI games if you had actually new people, they played this and they went, wow, I'm really into this, they're going to do it, no problem for you. But we had the Chagall event, and we've had a long, long time since the official launch of this. We had the what was it called? I'm forgetting at the moment. The esports for the colleges.
Heroes of the Dorm?
Heroes of the Dorm. Yeah, that was a great event to get people involved in this too. So the word is out about the game. Where do we find 4 people? Now, I feel like neutral man from Neutralville here because I play mainly Zagar and Diablo right now, and they're mountless, so I don't really have a pony in the race.
Yeah, but I mean, really, is that truly affecting your kind of like gut reaction to this? Because it's not like you're only ever going to play those 2 heroes. And also, are you taking crazy pills? You are Kyle Ferguson. You are the Raynor hipster.
I am, but the spider looks so sweet, and also the red version of the skin that I use would give me a red Vulture, which has the Terran Dominion symbol on it, and Raynor's not going to ride in no Terran Dominion symbol.
Yes, he would, and I'll tell you why, Kyle. I'm going to spin this yarn real fast for you, because he stopped that Dominion Vulture, he drugged the guy off of it, he put a bullet in his head, and he's riding up to Manx's front doorstep on it.
Yeah, and I guess they really didn't change the flag when he helped Valerian take over.
I guess they didn't.
No.
Nope. So, yeah. Your lore bubble has been burst, sir.
It has. All right. Good counter.
Hey, guys. I don't know if you noticed. We're big StarCraft lore nerds. We really didn't do a final StarCast, by the way. Okay. So, anyway, all that said, honestly, I'm having a pretty lukewarm reaction to this compared to most people. I really want the Vulture mount. I don't want to go make a bunch of Smurf accounts. So, hey, is anyone out there listening? I don't think anyone listens to this, but if you do, you should go to bit.ly/I-need-a-vulture right now and use that recruit a friend link and get your butts to level 10. I'd really appreciate it. Oh, I so did.
Oh, you knew too. You left it out of the notes because you knew if you put it out in there, I would make my own, and I'd make it more funny.
Yep.
Damn.
It's not like I was hiding it. It was one of my first tweets today.
Well done, sir. Well done. That is tweet-worthy.
Yes. So my thing is everyone's complaining about recruiter friend spawning a bunch of Smurf accounts. They're all screaming, oh my god, this is going to be the end of Quick Match as we know it. This is going to make so many players leave the game. I think they are all blowing smoke. I think they've blown it incredibly out of proportion. As you said, right now with the 50% increase XP buff, which we haven't even mentioned, but that's going through, the weekend?
Yep. To the 16th, I do believe.
It takes you roughly 3 hours to hit level 10. So if anyone,
in AI games, no less.
In AI, yes, exactly. In AI games, not even getting into Quick Match and ruining everyone's experience because you made a Smurf account. So I think it was blown up wildly out of proportion. If people really wanted the Vulture that bad and they were going to create Smurfs, they're probably done already. What's everyone losing their mind about? I just really want this mount, and I'm mildly annoyed that I need to get 4 friends. Personally, for me, it was because my last bastion of friends who hadn't tried this damn game yet, they just started playing when Chagall came out. Exactly. And I got on and I helped them get Chagall. And then this comes out, and I'm like, what the shit? I was so angry.
It is. It's frustrating. It doesn't cater to the new player or the veterans for sure. We've been playing this game for a really long time. We got a portrait. We got, some bonus gold. We got to enjoy that alpha time. And now we're getting into the point where it just feels like they don't really care about retaining us outside the game being stupid fun. And I love it. Right? So, I mean, is that enough? Yes, I'm going to keep playing this game because I always have one MOBA that I am married to at the time. And those change over time. Who knows what 20 years will bring. If we'll all be standing in, space suits and I'll be gesturing to play my MOBAs, which I don't want to do.
Well, in 20 years' time, I mean, all this time spent on our butt, I don't think we're going to be spry enough to be even attempting that. But
right. That's for the young esports kids.
Yeah, those young esports kids who will actually be physically fit playing their esport.
That's true. That's true. But then they'll trip and get concussions and carpal tunnel won't be the worst thing anymore.
And then they'll get Will Smith to, be in a dramatic movie about the person that discovered the concussions. And, Yep.
It's going to be, the future is bright, guys.
The future is bright.
So certainly a bummer. I don't foresee myself getting the Vulture mount anytime soon. I'm not going to make a Smurf. It's not good for the economy of the game. And I don't want to participate in that sort of system in that way. Tons of people have done it. We've seen all the reports on Reddit and all over the internet of people taking to the game, Smurfs of the Storm, they've been calling it. Of course, when you get in there, your MMR naturally, or should take you out of the sort of new player zone. But people have been saying that, it'll be like 7 Smurfs and 3 new guys while we all sort of dance around them as they slowly try to figure out this game for realsies.
Yeah, and that's going to happen. But I don't know. Like I said, I just don't think it's that big of a deal unless you're maliciously smurfing. And if you're out there maliciously creating Smurf accounts just so you can beat up on new players, you could have done that already. If anyone is out there claiming that this truly does incentivize like that type of poor sportsmanship, like any more than existed before, I think you're crazy.
Right, Smurfs have been around forever, and people have always taken to streams and done sort of comedy bits that I don't agree with, maybe trolling Smurfs, purposefully lowering their ranks so they can enjoy beating lower league players. These things happen in video games. My real sad part is that we have yet an encouragement to make Smurfs when tons of people feel like they are so locked inside their MMR. And I've heard, success stories from people who have taken to a Smurf, lost all their previous purchases, and found a much happier place in Heroes League.
Yeah. By the way, I'm not against those videos. I do find them kind of funny. Although, really, my favorite ones still date back to the beginning of StarCraft 2, man, with TL Onage when he would do his placement matches. And
well, yeah, sure, right? if you're going like the proxy barracks in your own base, like all those sort of bizarre stuff. What was it? The Fortress was my favorite.
He would spell his name out in creep tumors inside their base.
Exactly. You can't argue with that. And if I was on the receiving end of that, not only the pro player name on the enemy side, but then the ridiculous antics happening towards me, I'd nod my head and say, all right, yeah, I lost.
I would have that bookmarked, and it would be my internet Christmas card every year. Hey guys, look at this. Remember that time when TLO totally destroyed me in placement games?
That's true.
Yep.
Save that. Special file.
Yeah. So anyway, honestly, I think this is a good thing. It doesn't look like this is going away anytime soon. So over the course of just time, everyone should eventually get this if they're even mildly trying and sending out recruiter friend links. So, I mean, yeah, if you want it right now, the system is kind of borked. But I guess don't be me. Be patient.
Well, and really, to sort of sum it all up for myself here, Quick Match is not the environment where you should be going for your super serious games. And to see people complaining about that kind of blows my mind because we have Heroes League. It's not the best. We only have 2 places to go. There's nothing else in there to divide it up. But if you are being an ass in Quick Match, what are you doing with your time? Sure, Heroes League, right. We can all be serious about it. You can get your reports if you are too angry, sure. But really, like, if a game is going badly in Quick Match, or I found myself with a whole bunch of Smurfs, it's learn time. Like, how far can a Murden jump take me? Could I clear these trees if I really wanted to? It's a good time to learn.
I agree. I agree, man. And again, I like Recruit a Friend. Yes, I think it should have come sooner, but as we've said before, usually when we say why wasn't this already in the game, that's kind of it's a different way of saying, well, this is good. This is good for the game because it seems like is a natural thing. It should have been here from the beginning.
Exactly. It's too late, and the prize is a little too sweet behind such a difficult wall.
Yeah, I really want that Vulture mount. So bit.ly/I need a Vulture. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. I don't know who's listening to this and isn't already playing Heroes, but if by some miracle that works, that's the link you want to use. I really want to try and do this without creating Smurf accounts.
Right. That just doesn't sound fun.
Yeah. And if I do, I'll just do it through AI. I'm not going to get in and ruin Quick Match, but I'm going to give this a good month to see if I can do it naturally. Okay? So, we'll see what happens. So, on the subject of Recruiter Friend, let's go right into Dustin Breder's tweets because a lot of them this week are specifically about Recruiter Friend.
Right. I could be wrong.
Yes, you could, Dustin, but you're usually right. I feel like we can say that about the gentleman.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, does great things for this game. He said that the Vulture promotion is late and that they do apologize to their veteran players. So, Obviously, they're not sitting in their tower just being like, no, this came a recruiter friend is never late. It arrives precisely when it means to.
Everything is proceeding exactly how they foresee.
Exactly. I did a reference I thought you would make, and you did a reference most people would probably think I would make. So I like that. I like that. It's nice stuff.
Reference trade.
Yeah. Smurf accounts, he said, were never intended. So it wasn't supposed to be the byproduct of this this whole jam.
Right. Keyword here, intended, or that was not the intent. This is not saying we did not predict it.
Right.
Because someone sitting at the table has to speak up. I mean, they're video gamers too. It's a pretty obvious connection to make.
Right.
That's all I have to say about it. Right. Exactly. He also said the number of accounts will not be published. It's never the intent to inflate them.
Which is interesting, because that was, of course, the next counter is, oh, you're just trying to make your game look real good for the next quarterly report. And he's right. They've never said how many people are actually playing Heroes of the Storm. Just that when they had that first one back when maybe March or so of this year, they said it was lower than the stockholders hoped.
Right. So
could be wrong.
Could be right. I just realized I'm saying right a lot. Moving on from the recruiter friend discussion, he also said that the map veto system is not coming anytime soon. So, sorry. This was
bummer.
Specifically to people complaining about Towers of Doom in very colorful fashion.
There's been a lot of hate for Towers of Doom this week. And I've certainly formed my opinion on it at this point. I enjoyed a lot. I enjoy zone control. I think it's a pretty cute mechanic. I think it's a lot of fun to change those things up. Winning, however, and losing is a bit disappointing.
Yeah.
I would instead prefer it if maybe those tower shots were enough to destroy the outer wall, and then we went for the core. But there's no sort of esports, they're going for the core kind of moment in my tasteless impression.
Yeah.
For us to enjoy.
I'm very much the same boat as you. I like it, but I miss... There's no surge. At no point in the game is there that surge or that rally. And I miss that. That is such a... It's surprising. Like, you remove it, and... Like, I never realized what a key component to these type of games that is until it was taken away.
Even though everything else is dead, they are, the team wipe, 40 seconds on the board, and they're on the core. The core is at least attacking. I don't know, maybe that's just the little bit of danger we need. But when you've got one left on the enemy core and everyone else is dead and they ride up to the boss while you sit and watch, something disappointing inside happens.
Yeah. When asked about plans for spectator mode, he said, plans, but it is a lower priority than other fixes. I mean, I wouldn't say spectator mode is a fix so much as a feature, but I get that. I would love it. I absolutely would.
What was the madness about Hearthstone and their spectator mode? Was it that the esports was just taken off so quickly?
Yes. There was nothing. In Heroes, you have spectators. You have spectator slots, and you also have replays. In Hearthstone, we had jack squat. There was absolutely no way to do it. So you had to get everyone in the same room. So you had multiple computers feeding in like old school, making a TV program style to capture everything that was going on. Or you had to do some horrendous internet Frankensteining with either a Skype screen share or taking or capturing multiple Twitch streams and hoping nothing went wrong in that just cornucopia of loose bolts and wires.
Yeah. I remember some of those Skype shared esports events, and Skype does not like sharing video much.
No, it doesn't. Good God. We both do it all the time with our buddy Ben when we're doing art critiques and whatnot. It's crap. I'm glad it's there. It's better than nothing. But it's not great.
Right, exactly. It's what I use to do my lessons, too. And, I provide the video after the fact so they can watch it in full HD. But my other option is to take them into the replay and show them what they can click on there. I can't control their own camera, so that's still not a feature either.
Yeah. Finally, this is the Dustin Browder tweet I am more interested in than anything else we have talked about on the entire show today. And that includes a Vulture mount, for which I want so bad, bit.ly/I need a Vulture. Akun Chance tweeted at Dustin Browder and said, "Hey, any plans to make Nidus a more attractive pick? Hot Slogs may be inaccurate, but less than 2% pick rate breaks my little Zerg heart." And Dustin Browder said, "Well, the pick rate is very low. Hot Slogs totally has that right. I think for Zagara, I wouldn't mind a third heroic." What? That's my best tasteless impression.
Right. It's a bit insane. It's a dear, the car stopped working. Well, we're getting another. Oh.
Yeah, it doesn't really address the issue that the original tweeter is mentioning, right? And the issue that I think we all agree is a problem with Zagara, which is that Nidus is just, it's pointless. She's so self-sufficient. Why do you need Nidus?
Right. Well, and more that if you want to do that exact role, play a different hero. Go Abathur. Go Murky.
Yeah.
If you want to be off the entire game doing your own thing. Granted, Nidus Worm does move your character that is a normal character around the map at decent speed. But really, for me, it's all interface. It's the same exact thing as the Anubarak Beetles back in the day. It's just bad. You have to click on the Nidus Worm, then you have to go look at the Nidus Worm and click her at it, and both sort of have load-unload times. It's the difference between the old Nidus Worm in, Heart of the Swarm versus the Medivac, which works rather fantastically. So just tuning it so it actually runs is all I need. In Magical Christmas Land, if I could have it where I click across the entire map and Zagara knows if I have a Nidus Worm between here and there, she takes the shorter path, that would be excellent.
I would like to see how broken or not broken it would be if they just rolled Broodling Nest into the base talent.
Right.
Because it's cool, right? I would be interested in taking... Stop. Just stop.
Okay. No, I'm good.
You're breaking me. I would be very interested in taking Nidus if it could be part of a siege tactic, right? Like I could just drop it, not even use it to move around the map, but that could be a nice side effect of having them around. But to spawn broodlings, maybe don't let me spawn as many. Maybe only let me spawn 2 Nidus Worms so that I can't have broodlings pushing down all 3 lanes.
Are we getting into Abathur Locust territory there, though? And I feel that's the fear they have. Originally, that's exactly what Nidus Worm did. I mean, we're talking 2012 build on the BlizzCon floor here.
Yeah.
But that was its intent.
I think you can tune them differently. I mean, I think the way Abathur is built, I think Locust should do more damage than Broodlings. But I think you could make Broodlings do small enough damage, but at least it makes enough of a difference that it's worth taking. I don't know. I'm just trying to think what's an easy fix, what's something I've seen, something I can wrap my brain around that would actually make Nidus Worm enticing.
Right, and Mr. Big Stuff in the chat makes an excellent point. The other ultimate's just incredible and wins games.
Right, that's the other bit. The other thing I can think of is make Nidus Worm function more like Falstad's Fly or Brightwing's Teleport. Where wherever you stand, you have a short channel, and you just burrow and then pop up in a worm somewhere.
Oh, that'd be sick. Like it jumps out and eats you and then spits you out somewhere else.
Yeah, something like that. Or I don't know. There's all kinds of ways you could Zergify it and make it cool.
Right, we had the cutscene. How about she surfs on it across the entire map?
Oh, that'd be so dope.
It goes in and out of the ground.
But having it be more on demand, so you don't need to have this clunky, weird UI setup, which honestly, I mean, on its face, it seems very StarCrafty, right? Like you're placing it like you're placing a building almost.
Yeah.
But in a MOBA, it's clunky, and it's not something you can do on the fly. And I don't know. That would take away a lot of what makes it unique, but I think it would also make it a lot more usable and an enticing pick for players. So I don't know. I play a lot of Zagara, so I'm saying what would make me pick it.
Right, exactly. And what sort of at home would entice us. In an esports land, I'm still expecting for some random weekend for us all to be blown out of the water by how amazing Nidus Network is, because it can body block. And I have used it myself to help enemies get away by popping that up in the middle.
Oh, yeah. I've saved lives with Nidus when I've accidentally picked it.
But you could also just save lives.
I could just do it with Maw and then possibly turn the fight.
Exactly.
So, except, Maw, significant cooldown Nidus Worm, there's almost always one ready to pop up somewhere, but it's not nearly as effective. Maw, Maw is insane.
And we have a lot of ultimates like this in the game right now. They've done what they can for Void Prison, and it's in a great place. I really love Zeratul in his current balance. He's not dominating the game, and you actually have to be rather skilled to land a decent Void Prison with such a small cast range. But no matter what you do to it, Shadow Assault doesn't look any better.
Yeah, exactly. I think Zeratul's that too. But again, Shadow Assault, not getting picked anytime soon.
Right.
Could be wrong.
Could be wrong.
Alrighty, let's before we move into our strategy section, we're not doing emails today, by the way. All of our we have multiple strategies we're going to talk about, and they all came from our emails, so we're wrapping them, we're combining them. But before we do that, let's thank our patrons, Kyle. We're doing a call-in episode tomorrow. That's all because of them. We're doing a coaching video. That's all because of them. You're going to make me play Abathur.
It's true.
It's going to be wonderful. If you enjoy Into the Nexus, if you like what we're doing, consider heading on over to patreon.com/ITN and throwing us a quarter, throwing us 50 cents, whatever you feel like. This week, we want to thank Robert R., Ethan M., Braska, Tony H., and Vit P. Thank you guys so much for supporting Into the Nexus. Now, let's strategize, shall we?
Choose a talent.
Choose a talent.
Talent? Ah, that seems generous.
And this is your brain on fell magic.
And since all of our strategies today came from our email, I want to remind everyone, you can email us at itncast@gmail.com. Our first multi-mini strategy email comes to us today from Top Hat Ghost. I love that name. And Top Hat Ghost says, I reached level 30 a few weeks ago, and I have yet to start my placement games into Hero League, but I plan on making my way in there soon. However, a worry popped in my head the other day. What happens if I get first pick? I'm a very naturally anxious person, so just the thought of having first pick brings up nervousness. While it may not actually be like this in practice, the idea that my one pick could set the tone for the rest of the game for everyone seems like a lot to bear. So with that in mind, are there any principles I should keep in mind when first picking? Is it just as simple as pick Kael'thas, Jaina, Tyrande, etc. ASAP? Or is there more I should keep in mind? Anyway, thanks ahead of time for reading all the way through this. Love the show and hope my patronage appeases you. May MMR be forever on your side. We're happy that you find enough value in the show to give us value back. Appease is a strong word.
We are pleased. Thank you for your humble offering.
Thank you, Top Hat. First thing I want to address is the fact that he wrote ASAP in there. And I would say there's a timer for a reason. Don't feel that you need to snap pick someone just because you're first pick. That's your time. You're not eating up anybody else's time. Take your time to select your pick wisely.
But those sweet mind games being like, boom, I don't need anything else. I've got him.
That is sweet. But I would say it takes some time in Hero League to get that comfortable first picking a hero with such ferocious speed. Yeah. But I don't think you're off. You mentioned Kael'thas, Jaina. I personally like safe picks. It's not brave. It's not personal. You don't get to feel like a special snowflake, but I really do like safe picks like KT, like Jaina. However, one thing to consider is that what is considered a safe pick changes. It changes with the meta. As the meta changes, so does what we consider a safe first pick. Now, for the most part, I would say the two mages at the moment, pretty safe pick because they've been first picks forever now.
Yeah. I do expect a lot from my Jainas, and she's fallen a lot since the patch due to, a rather small change to her first level talent, but also the scaling test map wasn't very kind to her. So she's actually fallen quite a bit on the old hot slogs, but Kael'thas is still extremely high, and they're the only two burst class heroes that are currently in the game.
Right. And I'm glad you brought that up because it leads right into my next point, which is, don't make a meta pick. Don't first pick whatever's popular, whatever you don't think is going to upset your pickup team if you don't know how to play it. So first picking a hero that you know how to play and you know how to play well is so much greater than doing a meta pick that you don't know. That is the golden rule. If I was to tell anyone one thing, that is it. I just wanted to lead in with the safe pick thing because I thought it was a nice buffer to this point. Because, yeah, I like seeing Jaina picked. I'm like, yeah, Jaina on our team. But if you don't know how to play Jaina, don't do that. If you're not confident. Saying someone doesn't know how to do something I feel is like aggressive. But like if you're not confident, if you're not comfortable, there's certain heroes that like Kyle, when you and I pick it, we're like, yeah, it's on. Let's do this. And I feel like if you don't feel that way with a certain hero, you shouldn't first pick them.
Right. Absolutely.
Comfortable gaming shoes.
Definitely helps out a lot when you're getting into Heroes League for the first time. If you can triangulate two ideas together, that's where you're going to find your real magic. So first is that comfort pick, the one you want, the one that, might suggest at a sane comp is always a good idea for that first pick. You can get into those sort of maddening zones of like, I first pick Artanis, and everyone goes, oh, so we're going crazy, are we? And then you got Cho'Galls all of a sudden, like everything's raining down, like Brightwing's coming in. Morales is like double support Morales, Brightwing. And before you know it, your comp is just wacky. And you could win, for sure. I mean, you might be the most amazing Artanis in the world. But in those sort of cases, you should have the experience to back it up. Say, hey, I'm just the bruiser here. Let's do a double tank. I'm just an amazing Artanis. But the real magic happens for first picks when you can take all those ideas I just mentioned and match it with the hero you lose against the most or don't want the enemy team to have.
Absolutely.
So I got some amazing picks. I love them. Raynor, Skeleton King, all these sort of guys that I really, really dig and excel with. Zagara. For me, it's Raynor over anyone else because Zagara is good. Skeleton King, not as good anymore, but still good for me. But Raynor, I don't want the enemy team to have. And in fact, to take that even a step further, I hate Kael'thas's because they can turn around an entire game if people don't know where to stand when living bombs are going off, or just a bit of bad luck and wombo combos. Some sort of ultimate landing on top of an ultimate while everyone's got the Phoenix on them and the living bombs. So I looked at my win rates on Hotslogs and saw under the Heroes win rate tab that I lost a lot against Kael'thas. And I've actually increased my win rate overall by picking Kael'thas always as my first top pick.
I made it a point to learn Kael'thas for the exact same reason. I was so sick of playing against KTs. Now, I was already interested in him. But for whatever, when I first tried him, I kind of took a step back. I was like, I don't know. He's really slow and feels lumbering, and I feel like I'm just going to die. But then I lost game after game to Kael'thas. I'm like, all right, I'm going to learn how to play this damn guy.
Yeah, and I don't think I'm particularly good. It's not what I want to excel at. The flavor is a bit off. I like the villains. For some reason, I've just fallen in love with Raynor, maybe because of that sort of hipster chip on my shoulder for him back in the day, laner, in combating that mentality. But Kael'thas has become my number one first pick, and it informs a very sane group comp that people can kind of get around. But first and foremost, I don't want to have to deal with him on the enemy team.
Yep. Exactly. I like first picking Zagara, but it raises eyebrows from time to time, which leads into the final point I want to make, which is also consider the battleground that you're on. Because obviously if I first pick Zag on Tomb, I get like a round of applause. Someone's like, yeah, sight for days. But on some other maps, maybe not so much. You're like, why didn't you just pick, a high damage assassin? Why not Raynor? Why not Kael'thas? It's something that you get into. But really, like I said, if I wanted to put sorry, go ahead.
No, but Zagara is in that sort of good place where she can take care of herself. And so many times, if you're trying to learn support, one of the big things you have to decide is, who are my primary support targets? This becomes very obvious with characters like Uther, because you have extremely long cooldowns, 12 seconds each, and that whole toolbox you get over the course of getting your various talents. And by making strong choices as to which spell is for whom, you're going to be a better player. And seeing picks like Zagara and Raynor make me go, oh, thank goodness, I can really take care of that Butcher, that Kerrigan, that Thrall that might be on my team. And they're just playing safe. I mean, the whole team can build around them, sure, but any team comp is going to work out with that Zagara, Raynor, or Kael'thas these days. That may change down the road. This isn't forever. But if instead you pick that Butcher, Thrall, Kerrigan, as the first pick, I'm sitting watching you and I'm going, okay, so you need the Uther, and then we're going to need X and this. And this is really important to me for Morales right now because she's so positional for the rest of the team. She's an amazing healer. I love her numbers. She can keep things alive like an ult. It's insane what she can do with that channeled heal. But I want double tank all of a sudden. I want this and that and all these pieces to fall into place. And I can't make that happen in a solo queue environment.
Nope. No, you can't. So, again, if I were to place a period here, it's just pick a hero that you're good with, that you think is relatively safe. Like, I don't know. I feel like exercising, just kind of general social common sense is totally fine.
Right. Let's remove it from the whole first pick mentality because that's why we're being sort of firm on this. Pick for yourself. Pick for the map. That's all you can really control. You can't change minds and you can't make other people pick things because they might say, no, curses to follow, or they're just not good at that particular hero and whatever mentality you had built up in your head falls apart.
Yeah. Another quick tip is really do take the time. Hover over what you're thinking of first picking and see if your team is going to hover over what they're hoping to pick. That'll also, if you're teetering, like, I could go Raynor, I could go Zagara, I could go Kael'thas, see what they're all thinking about playing. Obviously, if the final guy on your team is hovering over Kael'thas, he's not going to get Kael'thas, so you should probably just grab it. But
that's true.
But, man, just comfort picks.
Yeah.
Comfort picks. I mean, Kyle, you hit rank 1 the very first time when you realized, I'm going to bring my stable down to just 3 heroes I know I'm really good with. Obviously, excluding the scenarios where you couldn't get those 3 heroes. But for the most part, you played the same 3 heroes game after game after game, so you hit rank 1.
Right, and that's what you should do. You only really need that tank for emergencies, that support for emergencies. But if you are in the lower leagues trying to get up, you need yourself your number 1, regardless of who they are, assassin. Because that is going to carry the game. You cannot heal or tank bad players into a win.
And Zagara can be an assassin.
Yep, yes, you can. Her damage is incredible, right? It's same as Gazlo. It's just random damage. That's why you need cleanup people like Vala and Raynor to go in there. But that's a conversation for another time. I don't want to overload Top Hat Ghost, who's already a bit nervous about getting into Heroes League.
Excuse me, sir. You can totally direct the majority of Zagara's damage. Just saying.
Right, you can, but you can also run away from it. And...
not really a Mutalisk, but yeah.
Right, but they need to be invested in the fight.
I know.
I'm not talking like Jaina or Nova right now with gathering power. Holy crap. When you just come around the corner and you're dead. Zagara's going to, play with you for a little bit.
Well, exactly. Yeah. There's no burst damage happening from Zagara. But Muta's in a team fight, so much beautiful damage.
Ooh-wee.
Ooh-wee, Kyle. All right, next one comes to us from Mr. Banks, and he says, I have a question about bruisers. I understand which heroes are bruisers and mostly what they do, but why should I take one and when? What is my goal when playing one? Thanks, guys. Love the show.
Sweet.
Well, Kyle, you like bruisers.
I do.
You love yourself some Leoric, and that's pretty much where he falls at this point.
Yes, he does. Though this past week on Solo Q&A, I did solo tank as Leoric against double tank.
There's a lot of health there for you to steal.
Exactly. I had a Diablo and a Muradin on the enemy team. Diablo gonna spec right now anyway to increasing his huge health pool, and then Muradin picks his ult that increases his overall health pool. Drain Hope is amazing in those situations. And plus, if I could save anyone in that case, I die instead of them, it's a better trade-off than anything the enemy team is getting or a dead person on my team. That's not preferable, of course, but bruisers are very well used in really 2 situations. The first is the more sane one. You're going for a double tank comp, double warrior comp, and one of them's a bruiser because you want the zone created by that extra warrior with the high health to protect some squishy. That morale is really important to have that bruiser there because they're high damage. They really take advantage of that channel heal, but also they will create a zone that Morales can hang out in that can't just be walked through like maybe, a Kael'thas standing in the way of someone. No one's going to care. Out of the way, Kael'thas, and you're going to go after that Morales. So bruisers are very good in that situation. The other situation is what I just talked about with my Skeleton King there. When you foresee that the enemy team is so darn tanky that you need to outdamage them because ultimately damage wins games. And there's nothing more frustrating than having too little damage. The fight goes on for way too long. You have great supports, great tanks, but you can never close the deal. You run out of mana, and then you all continue to die. So when you're going up against a double tank comp opposite them, there is an opportunity, and it is, kind of small, and only certain heroes. I'm not sure I'd want to do this with Sonya, but increasing your overall damage by removing a tank could be what gets you that win.
Yeah, absolutely. Also, if you're solo queuing, it's not bad if you see one of your fellow teammates go bruiser to consider going bruiser, because double bruiser is usually the comp that works. I mean, we're seeing so many Tyrael Sonya combos in pro games, using sanctification so that Sonya can really just do work, while also Tyrael's in there throwing down.
And those are specialty sort of situations. That Leoric, the Tyrael's a great example. I agree with it completely. What you can do there is dodge the stuns. You get them onto yourself, and you negate them with a Wraith Walk or the Tyrael Sanctification, and that gives your players the power to push forward while you're not entirely locked down from, participating with the rest of the team. Arthas might be a rough solo bruiser right now. He's extremely high damage, but there's really very little you can negate on him. Until level 20, of course, when he gets all his talents stacked up, and he's a pretty big powerhouse.
Yeah. Do you immediately go into panic mode if you see a tank, a bruiser, and then someone else grab a melee assassin?
Only if my healer is melee as well.
Okay.
I think that might actually be a good comp for that Morales. She's really in my mind today, so I apologize. But it's because I'm trying to figure out where she goes right now, and I've had some amazing games and some awful games with her.
Fair enough. I'm in the same boat.
Kharazim. In that situation, hell no to Kharazim, right? It's okay if we have this double warrior comp, and then we add a melee assassin on top of it, but Kharazim has to punch dudes to do healing. And if you have 3 people all just running around in the middle of the madness, you're rarely going to get in there. You're going to cause a lot of chokes. And in fact, if the enemy team has any sort of abilities to bring you guys together, keep you together, you're just going to get destroyed. Johanna's pulling people together, living bombs going off. That's the real trouble of going so heavy melee, is that you'll just be open to area effects and probably get schooled.
Exactly. Because I go in full panic mode if I see that many melee. It really terrifies me.
Yeah. And the same thing happens on the far end, too. If we have one tank, everything else range, and then Thrall, guess who's probably going to overextend and get himself killed? Probably the Thrall. Because he doesn't have a lot of dudes around him.
Yep.
And we all know not to attack Johanna at this point.
Yep. Unless it's what you're talking about where there's nothing but range, then sometimes, screw it. I guess we're burning Johanna because it's the only person we can hit.
Right. I mean, you can have caveats to everything all day long.
I know.
In a real-time strategy game, but
yep.
Some rules to live by there, hopefully.
All right.
Really, ultimately, when you're talking about whole group comp and whether you can submit a bruiser to the team, think about if you have enough stuns. If you're lower league level, that's really what's going to help you win the game, having more than enough damage and having stuns to lock down players and complete the actual kill on them. Stitches is a tank. He has great health, great regeneration right now. If he hooks something and there's nothing to stun it, an Uther, no bruiser like a Nubarak to grab onto it, Arthas maybe to just make him stand still for a bit, he's going to get away and you'll never win the game.
Good words. Good words, Cal. Moving on to our final email from John, and John wrote a lengthy email, but we'll hit the highlights here. He says, ever since the scaling changes, my win rate with Jaina, my standard comfort pick, has fallen dramatically. I won't ask you which heroes I should play during the chokehold patch because that doesn't address the root of my problem. Metas change, and current hotness might be very cold just a month from now. Instead, I'd like to ask your advice on how I should evaluate a new landscape and pick accordingly. What are my tip-offs to decide that I need to drop the burst damage and learn Zagara to out-sustain the double supports, or Leoric to counter the double warrior protecting that Kael'thas, or what will come in a later patch to let me know that Jaina is again the right call? Well, it sounds like from his writing He's already pretty damn astute.
I don't think he wants to admit it to himself.
I don't think so either.
I think what he wants to hear is, it's not your fault. Jaina's just in a rough place. The thing is, Jaina's not really in that rough of a place. She has lost some power, certainly, but I wouldn't call her bad by any means. And in fact, her, rating on Hot Slogs, you got to scroll down for a bit these days. And that just strikes me as odd. And the real reason behind that is because pro players are continuing to perform really well with Jaina, and the good Jainas are extremely spirited. They're very creative. They don't drop their blizzards right on top of what they want to hit. They drop it like touching the target, but where they expect that target to move to. And doing those little sort of things, going around the side, really taking advantage of those slows to be overly creative in how you snag people is how Jaina is going to win games right now. Whereas in the past, before the scaling changes, you would basically walk in there, you had your 3 spells, and you would use all 3 to murder them and win.
Yeah. I mean, Jaina right now on Hot Slog is sitting at a 47.3 win percent, and I wouldn't let that deter you. She's down, this week she's down 0.5%, but she's in surprising company, or maybe not so surprising if you talk about the pro games. Uther is just above her, Falstad is just below her, and Sylvanas is just below Falstad. All 4 of those are heroes we are frequently seeing in pro games. So that I think they just have a higher skill cap than some of the higher win percentage heroes that we're seeing.
Right, well, and her Q ability is a skill shot. And when you compare that with sort of the basic run-of-the-mill ability on Kael'thas, you click exactly what you want to put a bomb on.
Yeah, exactly. And obviously it's not true across the board, because sitting at 5th place is Lost Vikings, one of the highest skill cap heroes in the damn game. However, the amount of games played compared to almost every other damn hero, it's dramatically lower. So it's very much like a Chen. We always come back to this. It's a hero that's played very little, but the people that do play them love them and are very good with them.
So if you experienced a bunch of losses right after a big patch, that's a good observation, and take that forward with you. I always think of, I've been on this road for a really long time, playing MOBAs for like 13 years, I think I've calculated out to. When a new hero comes out, the game will always be extremely wacky, and Cho'Gall was extra special wacky. So of course the game suffered.
He was not a normal hero by any means.
Also, the game's going to be a little extra wacky when a quote-unquote like cool hero comes out. Because he's cool. He's neat-looking. He's evil, maybe. He's got a helmet on. He's a Death Knight.
Dude, when Greymane comes out, it's it. Everyone's going to be playing Greymane for the first few weeks, I bet. I'm telling you right now. He's human with his cool steampunk jacket, and he's got a pistol, and then all of a sudden he's tearing your throat out as a friggin' werewolf.
Right, he's a werewolf. He's a worgen. People have been looking forward to him. Like, the game is going to go insane. And for that reason, and you can't stop people because they're going to, because there's no law against it. There's no rule in the game about playing a hero that came out this week in Heroes League. I decide for myself a week off. And that doesn't mean I don't play the game. I enjoy those weeks off. I love them because Quick Match is a great place for me to experiment with the new hero if I would like to, but also combating that hero is really interesting, and what I could learn in that week's time before I head back over to Heroes League. So if you're worried about your own win rates, particularly if you're trying to grind up, I mean, every loss is now 2 wins you have to get back on the right train. Notice those sort of trends and avoid where necessary.
Yeah, absolutely. And realizing, like, what you're already doing the right thing. You're keeping track of your win rate, and realizing that that's dipping and that you need to adjust accordingly is exactly what you should be doing. And if you want to keep playing the hero that you're losing with, it's probably time to analyze your own replays, see what you're doing wrong, how you could play differently, maybe watch some pro games for inspiration if your hero is being picked in the meta. I would like to watch Tyrande, but she keeps getting banned. So
you can just play any game of Heroes League this week. Holy hell. Everywhere.
I want to watch pro games of Tyrande.
Well, of course.
I don't want to watch somebody else killing me with his Tyrande.
People don't expect the stun. I mean, there's some amazingly skilled people at rank 1 right now with those Tyrandas, and the damage increase on tanks. It's very surprising time, and I've met a lot of nice people this week who have been like, guys, I'm sorry, I lost this game for us. I do not know how to deal with Tyrande.
Good on them.
Yeah. I was actually pretty surprised by some of the kindness, but it's a new landscape for sure.
Yep. Well, John, hopefully that helps. But honestly, it sounds like your head's in the absolute right place. So I would trust your gut on how to adjust to these things.
Right, and as we mentioned earlier, even if it's not first pick, that sweet spot is always your own win rates. But then take that time, go to your hot logs, win rate versus other heroes. Such an amazing tab. Look at what you're losing against, and if you can steal it for yourself, you'll be in a good place.
Absolutely. Now that is going to wrap up this week's episode. Chat room, stick around for the patron games after the show. Thanks again to our patrons, by the way, at patreon.com/ITN. And thanks to those of you who are leaving us 5-star reviews in the iTunes store. This week, thank you to Phil Dane. Thank you to BrickerC89, Slabyut, I don't know. But they said, I would be sad if there wasn't a Star Wars reference every show. Well, you're not sad today, because you got one.
Yeah, we did it.
Yeah. We also got a 5-star review from Always Kill the Slug. Great words to live by. And from Vrim, who said Garrett and Kyle have a 100% pick ban rate in the battle for my ear holes.
Oh, wait, ban rate?
I think it's if we were heroes, like people would.
This episode's too good. I'm not listening.
Yeah, I'm gonna ban it. Ban it. It's banned at this house. Well, that's wonderful. Thank you guys for those reviews. Keep them coming. I believe we're actually once again caught up on thanking iTunes reviews. So if you've been listening for a while on iTunes, you haven't left us a review, go drop us a review. We'd really appreciate it. As always, Into the Nexus is produced by amove.tv and our Patreon producers Declan H. and Cheesy Bob. Email us at itncast@gmail.com. Catch us live every Thursday night, usually. However, for the remainder of the year, how crazy is that? You catch us every Wednesday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Once New Year's happens, we'll be back at our normal 8 p.m. on Thursday night time slot. We always record those times. They're all Eastern. And yeah, check that out. And we're also on alphageekradio.com, twitch.tv/amovetv. Follow us on Twitter at ITNcast, on Facebook /amovetv, and on Reddit at itnpodcast.reddit.com. Finally, check out briangriffithmusic.com for some sweet tunes. He made our intro music. Kyle, where can folks find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Kyle Ferguson. Follow me there for updates on my own shows, such as Solo Q&A that happens Tuesdays Pacific time at 1 p.m. And those are going to continue because Tuesdays are quite free. So yeah, we'll do them through the holidays. That'll be fun. Lots of Heroes League action over there. And then, of course, Friday, actually following our call-in episode, I'll start up that replay analysis show. Once again, Replay Fridays. Send those over to soloqacast@gmail.com. Any leagues, welcome. And I could help you, get your learn on. See if you can figure out what's going on there. Let's see your Jaina, actually, if you think you can keep playing her.
Yeah, do it. Follow me on Twitter at GarrettArt. I'm at nomoonart.com doing graphic design. I'm on the Angry Chicken talking Hearthstone, and a new Angry Nerd is up where I'm talking to myself. This week I talked about Halo. I talked about Need for Speed. I actually got to talk about a racing game. I never get to talk about how much I love racing games. So that was cool. And I also talk about how completely and utterly excited for Halo I am. Or not Halo, Star Wars. I'm stupid. Ignore me. I'm really excited for Star Wars.
People want to know, spoiler-free Halo?
Yes, it's spoiler-free. For the most part. If you consider talk of themes and feel spoilery, then I guess it's spoiler. But no, I don't talk about the ending. I mentioned that it's a cliffhanger, but all of the internet has mentioned that it's a cliffhanger. So
they did that? Really?
I'm sorry. It's Halo 2 all over again, man.
Damn it. That's the one I stopped playing at.
Oh, really?
Also, I didn't have an Xbox, so going forward, so that kind of...
I was about to say, dude, they got real good.
Oh, I just figured it was going real weird.
No,
like most sci-fi games that try to end themselves.
3, I think, was fine. I feel like it stuck the ending, unlike StarCraft. And the offshoots were probably the best in the series. ODST,
That's true.
ODST and Reach were phenomenal.
All I hear is amazing things about ODS.
Dude, ODST, yeah. Just go play it. It's half the cast of Firefly is the group that you're running around with, and it's great. It's just wonderful. Anyway, just because we aren't running ads at the top of the show anymore doesn't mean you can't use these codes. Use the code ITN over at dogcastsystems.com, or it will get you a free 120 gigabyte solid-state drive added onto your rig. Check out their holiday sale, and also check out tweakedaudio.com. They sell earbuds. They are wonderful. I love mine. You can use the code ITN, and it'll get you 30% off and free shipping on your entire order. So go check them out. That includes you guys in Europe. The code works. Use it. So we'll see.
Yeah, the free shipping there works too.
Yeah, it's nuts. It's crazy. Anyways, we will see you all tomorrow for our call-in episode, and we will see you guys next Wednesday at 5 p.m. for the next regular episode of Into the Nexus. Until then, good luck and have fun.
Take care.